Women's wrestling has taken big steps and improvements since the era of being the piss break matches and the compilation of bra and penny matches. Gone are the days of women's wrestlers being bland and one-type personalities. Now we've seen the rise and greatness of such gimmicks and characters as Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, Rhea Ripley, just to name a few. And gone are the days of judging matches on a curve. This past decade alone, we've seen some of the greatest matches in women's wrestling history. From Bayley and Sasha Banks at TakeOver Brooklyn, Becky Lynch and Charlotte's last woman standing match, and as recent as last year's Lights Out match with Thunder Rosa and Dr. Britt Baker on AEW's Dynamite. As much as WWE likes to brand it, in America this feels like a women's revolution. Now why did I say in America? Well, to tell you the truth, the greatness of women's wrestling never really left, to be quite honest. You just gotta know where to look. In the 90s, Japanese pro wrestling was on a whole nother level, especially in the company known as All Japan Pro Wrestling, with top guys such as Mitsuharu Misawa, Kenta Kobashi, and Toshiaki Kawada. But the matches with those legends are stories for another time. But on the women's side of Japanese wrestling, or known as Joshi wrestling, big names like Aja Kong, Kayoko Inoue, Akira Hokuto, and Manami Toyota put on some of the greatest matches in women's wrestling history. Hell, in wrestling history. The style of Joshi wrestling would set the ground and be adapted into modern day Joshi wrestling. And the number one source for modern day Joshi would be the company called Stardom. And today, I want to talk about just one example of one of the best Joshi matches I've ever seen. February 23rd, 2022, in Nagaoka, Japan. This is the match between Azumi and Starlight Kid. Okay, let's just get one thing out of the way. I just started getting into Stardom this year, and this match right here got me hooked. I feel that this is a perfect match to get someone interested in Joshi wrestling. The promo video at the start does a good job at telling the story of why this match is happening in the first place. As for someone who's still learning Japanese, I can still understand body language and basic wrestling 101 to know that Starlight Kid is the confident champion heel and Azumi is the kind of underdog babyface. Even though they showed that Azumi has beaten her in the past, but not this new, darker side of Starlight Kid. Yami ni Otoru Sukai Taiga. With something like what we're about to see, you don't really need a story with many layers to it. Sure, I believe for the fans that have been paying attention to his story for years are gonna enjoy this match even more than a casual viewer, but for new time viewers, this is quite the treat. The bell rings and immediately the match kicks off at 100 miles an hour. Quick inside cradle reversals, Irish whip reversals, side headlock takedowns, head scissors, pinfall, and a kick out. And already at a stare down. The atmosphere of the situation and this match alone makes the high-speed championship live up to its name. Azumi shoves Starlight's face, Starlight ducks a strike and throws a strike of her own. Azumi asks for another. Starlight tries to throw another, but Azumi ducks and strikes Starlight. The two women trade stiff forearm strikes at one another that ends with Starlight Kid just pummeling Azumi with plenty of forearm shots. Starlight runs off the ropes and Azumi springs to life and dodges all of Starlight's attacks, and hits her with a dropkick. Azumi springboards off the ropes into an arm drag and into the rings of Saturn. Azumi wrenches the hold, but Starlight makes her way to the ropes for a break. Just when Azumi is taking control, Starlight finds an opening and capitalizes by drop-kicking Azumi to the floor. Starlight jumps off the apron and another reversal exchange occurs on the rampway that ends with Azumi giving Starlight Kid a penalty kick. Not for long, Starlight gets back up and arm drags Azumi on the floor, and follows it up with a beautiful acai moonsault. Both women get back into the ring and Starlight plans to dive onto Azumi. Azumi gets up and gets Starlight into the Tree of Woe position and hits her with a safe looking double stomp. Starlight Kid rolls out and Azumi runs from corner to corner and hits an awesome looking crossbody on Starlight Kid and the rest of Oedo Tai faction. Azumi drags Starlight back onto the apron, and honestly, this is the biggest botch of the match. I believe Azumi was going for a head scissors spike back into the ring, but she most likely caught her foot on the ropes or something. I don't know, it looks a bit sloppy. But this is instantly forgotten and followed up by Azumi hitting a fucking brutal looking double stomp from the top rope. and Azumi follows that up with a La Mystica armbar. Starlight tries to crawl to the ropes, but Azumi grabs her other arm and tries to lock on the Rings of Saturn again. Starlight rolls through and pins Azumi, but Azumi kicks out. Azumi whips Starlight's arm onto the canvas and clutches her by the wrist and kicks her arm. Azumi wants to inflict more damage to that arm and she goes up to the top rope. She tries to go for the double stomp onto the arm, but Starlight moves out of the way. Azumi ducks another strike and climbs back onto the top turnbuckle. Starlight meets her up there and arm drags her off the top. Azumi isn't out though, as she traps a kick by Starlight and hits her with a leg-trapped German suplex, which I have never seen before. But Starlight kicks out and hits the drop kick. And Azumi hits a high kick of her own and picks Starlight up for a suplex. But Starlight reverses it into a nasty-looking DDT. Azumi small packages Starlight and both women roll on the canvas trying to get a quick pinfall. Starlight goes to the top and hits a twisting frog splash, but Azumi barely kicks out of it. And then Starlight hits the Black Tiger Driver. 1, 2, Azumi kicks out. Azumi dodges a running strike from Starlight and tries to steal the win. 1, 2, and Starlight Kid kicks out. Starlight Kid looks to hit the Eternal Foe onto Azumi. Azumi is not backing down, and she tries to block. But Starlight beats on her some more and slaps Azumi in the face. She hits the Eternal Foe, but Azumi quickly locks on the armbar and tries to break Starlight's arm. But Starlight scratches and claws her way to the ropes. Starlight tries to go for a tiger suplex, but she can't get the grip because of her hurt arm. Azumi rolls her up, Starlight kicks out and gets rolled up again. 1, 2, but Starlight kicks out again. Azumi hits a Famouser and locks on her double-armed sushi. Starlight gets out of the hold, but gets kicked in the face. And Azumi follows us up with a Canadian Destroyer onto Starlight. Counter after counter, Azumi desperately locks on Sushi and wrenches Starlight's arms. Starlight gives up and Azumi wins by submission. After the match, Azumi cuts a promo and Starlight's selling in the ring. She's still in pain after the battle these two went through. Azumi extends a fist and the two fist bump out of respect for the classic that they just put on. A feel-good visual to an end of an amazing performance. Wow. I mean, it was really difficult for me to take notes and type up a script for this match because it's hard to keep up with a match of this speed with just words or just narration. There's a link in the description for this match, and I encourage you to watch this match whenever you have free time, because this match should be viewed by more people. A match like this, in a way, almost echoes other matches like Will Ospreay and Ricochet, and bet your ass I'm reviewing those matches soon. But this match is perfectly summed up in just 2 words: high speed. And the High Speed Championship really lived up to its name with a banger like this one. Aside from one botch, the only other criticism I could have given this match is that I wish Starlight Kid could have been more dominant and took more control of the match. That way, so Azumi has more of a comeback, and most likely she would have worked on Starlight's arm some more. Other than those 2 negatives, this is one of those matches that you can show anyone and they'll most likely enjoy it. I get it, this style is not for everyone, and you have some people who might enjoy the Cactus Jack Deathmatch Wrestling style, or the Bryan Danielson Bret Hart Technical Wrestling style, or something like 80s Midnight Express Southern style. But people are gonna have to realize that you can't fucking please everyone with just one type of style. I mean, legit, I don't know why everyone has to label everything as what is considered wrestling and what isn't considered wrestling. There shouldn't really be any gatekeeping for styles of wrestling. Just fucking enjoy the fake fighting. Wrestling should be fun to watch. And this match was very fun to watch. This match earns an A-tier rank for being easy to follow, something so unique and really isn't seen in other parts of the world. And for being, no pun intended, a pretty quick watch, from bell to bell being 17 minutes and 3 seconds. Thank you for your time, and yeah, that'll be it. See you.
Let there be rain, and there was rain. Let there be rain, and there was rain. Me.